Jeff and Jeremy. It's like a radiogasm.
I said, hey, babe, check it out on the podcast.
Apple Podcast, Google Podcast,
and Spotify.
All this is going viral.
Cool 80s music, summertime. It's going to get freaking hot this weekend in North County. And it's going to get freaking hotter next week in North County.
I'm going to be, I got a camp spot a long time ago because you had to, out at Lopez. It's be pretty hot out there, too.
Yeah, it will be hot.
Lopez and Paso kind of have the same climate.
Right, yeah.
It seems weird, but
it
you
is
get
weird.
higher and more east, and it's hot out there,
I used
man.
to always throw me for a loop when I lived in Slow, and I'd go camping out at Lopez because I would dress slow, appropriate. And then I'd be like, dude, it's hotter now.
But it's going to be cold at night. Does it get really... It still gets pretty cold in Paso
Yeah,
at
it
night,
does.
right?
I mean, it gets down into the 50s, even
and
on
no
the hottest
campfire.
days.
They won't let me have a propane gas fire. Propane doesn't even burn anything.
Oh, this again, huh?
Yeah, this again. Whatever. Good morning. Happy Friday. I'm not going to complain too much. So Father's Day is obviously... Is it a week from this Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, we both have stepdads, and you have a real dad. You have two. You have two dads. Do you send them both cards? Do you call them? What is your protocol? I'm kind of like into this position where I was told by my mother that he really likes a card. So
that's how I was told by my mother, and I can't for the life of me think that he really wants a card. I think that's a mom thing.
do you? What? This is your dad or your stepdad?
My stepdad.
So what do you call him?
I'll call him.
What do you say?
I'll send him a card, too.
Happy Stepfather's Day?
I just say Happy Father's Day.
Yeah,
how's it going? How's your day doing?
Because you're not his only, you're the
This year I won't.
the
No, I won't
stepkid.
be calling either of them because I'm going to be on vacation.
Why can't you call on vacation?
Because it's an involved vacation. A lot of running around on the vacation.
Are you going to text?
We're going to be busy. I don't know. I have not worked out a strategy on this one.
You have no plan? You're just going to be like, well, your mom's going to be mad at you.
I know.
And you're going to say, well, we were on vacation. And she's like, well, then you have no reason not to. It seemed like you were working. Just trying to give you a heads up what your mom's going to say. Maybe,
I'll
can't
figure it
they,
out.
you should be able, is he on Facebook? No reason I ask-
he is, but here's the deal. It's
Can't
not
you,
his
like,
account.
can't
It's my
you s-
mom's alternate
Can't you
account.
schedule a message to go out?
You can if you're a business. You can't if you're a personal person.
What if you're on text message? Can you schedule a text message to go out?
Remember, there was a service in which you could subscribe to years ago. I mean, this is years ago.
We get busy.
That would allow you to schedule text messages. I'm sure that text message service is still out there, because there are times when I will text message somebody at like 4:00 in the morning because of our hours.
Oh, I do that too. I don't care.
And then I'll send it, and then I'll be like, oh, that was kind of irresponsible texting, because you don't know.
You're afraid the phone's next to him and they didn't put
I don't
it
know
on
what their
vibrate?
settings are or anything like that. And then they'll text back, and I'm like, oh, did I wake you up? Sorry, you're up early.
Yeah, I would never say that. I mean, people text me. I text them at 4:30 in the morning all the time. I mean, if you're going to text me, because people know I go to bed early, because the people that text me that have my phone number to text me are my friends. They're not just acquaintances. So if somebody texts me at 11:30 or midnight, you're getting a text at 4:30 in the morning when I wake up because I was asleep. Now, I don't keep my phone, right next to my freaking head in bed, so I don't have to worry about that kind of thing. But if other people, I realize they do, and they forget to turn it off, and it wakes them up, and then they're all cranky, and it's like, oh, sorry, dude. But Father's Day's coming up. What are you going to get, Dad? I found the perfect gift for you. The problem is you're on vacation, you said. So I don't know if this is going to work for you. But Yelp is giving away a deck, and I know you want a new deck. Yelp is giving away Father's Day decks. And how it works is...
They wouldn't pick mine. It's too much of a...
You have to go to Yelp. You have to find somebody that's on Yelp, and then in your local area, and then you have to have them come out and give you a bid.
Yeah,
and then you submit the bid.
Don't fall
and then
for this
you could
horse crap.
What do you mean horse crap?
Don't do it. I had a friend do this for a landscaping job. No, it was set up through some kind of...
But this is Yelp. It's credible.
No, this was set up from a credible, like, lifestyle type website. Not lifestyle, but home, garden, that kind of thing. Website. And they're like, hey, have such and such come or enter to win a free backyard makeover or something along those lines. And then they didn't win, but then they did win a free consult. Consult comes out.
What's a consult? Like a bid?
Yes.
Like a free
So
evaluation?
what they're doing is Yelp.
A free estimate. That's what I'm thinking
Yelp
of.
is doing it as a marketing tool, and I mean, if you are down for it, that's cool. But they have partnered with decking companies in our area, apparently, to basically and essentially deliver leads to deck people.
It says here you have to request. Oh, did you look into this? Because it says here you have to request a quote.
I know how the process works.
It says to do this, you have to go to Yelp's Desk for Dads giveaway. You must go through the site's request a quote feature to find a qualified professional. There you go, qualified, which they probably determine. Professional to finish your
people
deck.
that have signed up with Yelp to do this as a marketing ploy.
Here's the link. It's decksfordads.yelp.com. The contest is going to run through the 17th.
But what House
you will be
Beautiful
awarded
does,
up to $2,000 for a new deck.
What up to 2,000? That's not going to cover
The
my
problem is lumber prices right now are continuing to go up every day.
That's the thing. Well, I think they're starting to level off.
No, I was just last night on the news. They went up. They're still going up. And I'm not really sure what the news is. I saw some NBC or CBS news report on it, and apparently it had something to do with the fact that they just don't have a way to distribute the wood.
Right. Just wait until they figure out a way to distribute the wood, and you'll be fine. If you can. Yeah. See, yeah, I'm looking at this right now. So, yeah, you have to do the giveaway. Then you have to request a quote. Then by requesting the quote, you're giving them the license to send your information out to the deck builders that they have partnered with.
In our communities. In our area.
Wherever the community is, yes.
Yeah, in your community.
And then those people will be reaching out to you.
And calling you and spamming you. And is that what you're thinking this is? A big scam? Anyways.
And it's for $2,000 off, which would, in my instance, that wouldn't have covered my materials in January, let alone now.
You know what you need to do? I told you already. You need to go get yourself a planer, take all these boards up, replane it, and put it back down. Think how much you'll learn.
John from the JD Project that is not coming in today, but the JD Project is coming in today in the way of Doug. John is a concrete guy. He came over to my house. He said that to do that. Then I had another guy come over this past weekend. He just happened to come over, and I was asking him about my deck. He bids construction jobs. He said the same thing. I'm getting the planer
because of lumber prices. Yeah. You could tell your wife, "What's a planer? $200?"
Yeah,
it's all labor. I realize, but I think you'll be happy in the end.
But
plus, if your friend Jeremy needs to borrow your planer,
once summer is over, well, you can come over and help me use the planer too.
Yeah, see, I'll learn how to use it. You can teach me. You can teach all your friends how to use it.
Once summer is over, I have 6 months to build a deck.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I look at it, because even though, yes, it does rain here sometimes, it's a quick rain. It comes and it
Not
goes.
until February, March.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll have
you have to really
November, December, probably November, December, which are busy times because of holidays. But
I would do October.
Yeah, maybe I'll start in October, depending on weather. It can still be hot, and it can still be summertime. That's a shoulder season.
Are you trying to do this when you close the pool down for the kids so they're not running around?
Yeah, because I don't want them running in a construction zone.
All right. So there you go.
Buy a planer or
get scammed.
Scammed by Yelp.
Planer is the best way to do it.
Yep. And
so
I love how you say
this is what you can do for your dad. Buy him a planer and say, "Here you go, Dad. Redo your own deck." And maybe you'll lose some of that belly. As we all know, like my stepdad, he's put on at least 20 or 30 since he retired.
I love how you say Yelp is a reputable source.
It's a
they have been called into question many times.
But it's a reputable source.
For posting favorable reviews for people that buy advertising through them.
But at the same time, they've given us 4.5 out of 5 stars. And
they give us 5 stars.
Oh, we were 5 stars. And it's a legitimate business if you go to Yelp.
In an effort.
That was what I meant.
You know why they give us 5
stars? It's a real business, not a fake business.
You know they gave us 5 stars because they wanted us to start buying advertising with them.
Sure they did. I know they did. Hey, Pat Benatar, Neil Giraldo, John Waite is all coming to Vina Robles Amphitheater. We got tickets coming up a little bit after 8 o'clock this morning. Also a Mama Leah's Pizza, some $25 gift cards are going to be heading out the door to Pappy McGregor's, 1122 up in Paso Robles. All opportunities for you to win as the day rolls on.
Whoa! Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
So here's a nun who stole over $800,000 to pay for gambling trips to Vegas. But she's a nun. You kind of forgive her a little bit because she's a nun?
No, I think she's held to a higher standard.
Oh, really? See, I don't know. I'm on the other way. She's 79 years old. I feel like she's my grandma. She's my great-grandma, for God's sakes. I mean, I feel like I can't give her that hard of a time because she's old and she's been serving God her whole life.
Okay, so no, if she's been serving God her whole life, then she should know better. Where does this come from? I have a problem with people who flaunt their theology.
Oh, or what they do is almost like, well, I'm a paramedic. No one's ever said that to me. But is that kind of what you're saying? Like, I'm a doctor. I save lives for a living. So you're a piece of crap and I'm not. Is that kind of what you're saying?
No.
Like they deserve.
I'm saying, if you take a job with the church, all right, you are held to a higher standard, meaning that you must ethically be sound in order because it does a lot of damage to the church if you are not ethically sound. You hear this all the time with scandals with like televangelists and, even on local levels with some, leaders of congregation that fall under scandal, and it's researched and come to find out they weren't operating under the guidelines in which the big man told them to, and they were representing the big man. That's a problem. And I know everybody sins and nobody's perfect. I get that.
Yes, but she should go to jail for this, right? She stole $835,000 and $339 from a church schools fund to pay for gambling expenses. Now, my wife went to work for a guy right after he fired somebody and then got arrested for stealing about $1 million from their office. And she was the next one on. We've talked about this. And she was doing the same job, doing the book. So this woman was the bookkeeper, and she was making a decent living. But all of a sudden, she started driving a new $60,000 car.
Right.
And then her family bought a $200,000 motorhome. And then they bought a new house. And at some point, this doctor, and he was just by himself, he realized, like, what the hell, where's she getting all this money? Her husband's a janitor at a high school, and she does this job, and I pay her decent. But
was she flaunting it?
I'm not paying her more than, $60,000. I think she was making like $50,000 a year. How do you afford all that stuff? Her kids had new dirt bikes. Yes, they were going on trips and all this kind of stuff. It's like, where's all this money coming from? So then somehow they figured it out, and I don't know exactly how that was. They looked into it. And she was arrested. She's in prison right now. And this happened 15 years ago. Over 15 years ago. Almost 20 years ago. This woman was the principal of the school. She controlled the school's fund, the credit accounts, everything. Because it was a private school, right? It's with the church. Now she's looking at jail time. 79, almost 80 years old. So next time you go to the casinos in Reno or wherever you're at the Chumash and you're looking at those old ladies in there smoking the cigarette.
I wonder if she was in uniform.
I wonder.
If she was in uniform
when she gambled?
When gambling.
Ooh, that would have been, I don't think that would have
very
been
incriminating.
Yes. Like, what's this nun doing here?
But
Let's look into this.
Funny joke for somebody to play, too, like on April Fool's Day. Pregnant nun sitting at a slot machine in Reno, smoking a cigarette, having a beer.
Whoa! Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Now that I have added a great deal of drive time to my day, especially now with kids in summer camps, I'm running around in the middle of the day, I'm running around in the afternoon, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I've noticed I've been doing more voice to text because I'm driving. Can't text and drive. Never been good at it. I'm not going to attempt it because I'll end up getting in an accident. So many times I'll do the voice to text and I'll just leave it be. I'll see the errors. I'll see the left out punctuation and I'll hit send. Do you cut people slack?
Yeah.
For a bad text message?
Yeah, because I do it, and sometimes I try to go back and read it to make sure it went in right, and this Siri never gets it right. 100%. And maybe that's my fault. But I think I'm a fairly good enunciator because of what we do here. But who knows? Maybe I'm not. My wife just laughs all the time. She goes, why don't you just type it out? Because I'm always going back, and it takes longer to voice it, read it, then go back and fix like every seventh word.
That's what I run into too. Yeah, because then you got to move the cursor in between your comments. Then you gotta figure out what kind of punctuation to put there, or change the word.
Yeah, if it's you or my wife or somebody I know that I'm friends with, I don't care. You'll figure it out. Like, I was sending somebody a text message about today's show yesterday. And I was like, hey, when are you going to be available tomorrow? We need to kind of narrow it down because we're going to be packed. And it said gymmed. It said we're going to be gym packed.
It didn't say jammed pack.
My brain's tired sometimes. Oh, here we go. See, somebody's getting me.
See, you could talk normal and have people cut you some slack. I mean, it's the perfect storm for you.
Yeah, I don't know if people get on people about that. I love giving people a hard time, though. I'll just type the word back, question mark, or that little scratching your head emoji, and that always gets them, oh, you know what I meant, a little fired up. But yeah, I mean,
so
I feel
this is
spelling,
the
everything, grammar, punctuation, nothing even matters anymore. I mean, when do we even write? It's like, I text everybody, and it's always voice to text, and it's always 30% wrong at least. I just texted somebody the other day, and it says, I was texting our engineer this morning about our computer, because the first thing he'll say if there's a problem is, did you reboot it? So I said, so far so good, I reboot the computer. Instead of I rebooted the computer.
I reboot the computer?
I reboot the computer.
I am a robot. I reboot computer, just like you asked. Thank you.
And he says, cool.
Yeah, so he gave you the benefit of the doubt.
It's just funny. It's like everything we were taught in school. I told my teachers, nobody cares about this crap, Mrs. Johnson.
Like the punctuation?
Nobody cares about it, Mrs. Sturbins. Miss McCutcheon.
Who would have thought that the English language was going to be the one that lost importance over algebra? Right? Algebra is surpassing the English language as more important in. And
I'll tell you why it's more important. The other day on Facebook, purpose. I was trying to sound smart because somebody put up an equation, and it was here. I've got it here on my phone somewhere, and I did the equation. I gave the answer, and they're like, "Nope, you're wrong." And I says, "Well, how could I be wrong? This is what it is. It says the equation is 50 plus 50 minus 25 times 0 plus 2 equals this." And I said, well, it's 4, because 50 plus 50 is 100, minus 25 is 75. 75 times 0 is 0, and 2 plus 2 is 4. He's like, no, you have to do the multiplication first. Well, that's basic math right there.
I didn't know that.
And I said, well, I didn't know that. There was no parentheses. And he said, I'm a high school math professor. I mean, this was one of these stupid groups.
No, there's no such thing as a math professor in high school.
Whatever, teacher.
Okay.
And he said, you always act like there's always parentheses if there's multiplication and a multiple dominant. I don't know how you say that, but whatever. If there's addition, subtraction, and multiplication or division, you always do the multiplication first. You always act like there's parentheses there. And I'm like, I don't remember that, but I hated math, so that makes sense.
This is our poll question today, by the way, Jeremy.
Did you follow anything that I just said there?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Always do the multiplication first, like there's parentheses.
I did that, but you texted me the same thing, and I got it wrong.
And you got the same thing wrong as I did.
The same answer
because we didn't remember that you always do multiplication first. So when you do the multiplication first, it's 25 times 0 is 0. 50 plus 50 is 100. 2 plus 2 is 4. It's 104.
I still think it's misleading because leaving the parentheses out of it intentionally is...
That was the whole Facebook gotcha thing.
You're like, oh, I'm smarter than you because I really, really know math, because if there's a times it represents the parentheses, and you're like, well, screw you, because it should be in parentheses.
And how I knew he was right was I did use, it says, please don't use your calculator, use your brain. So then I did it in the calculator, just ran it through like it's written out, and it's,
Oh, it came out the way he wanted it to? With the advent of voice to text, do you give a poorly composed text message the benefit of the doubt?
Is it yes or no?
Yes, no. Sometimes and only little screw-ups is your third option on that.
KZOZ.com, your home for the SurfNet Communications poll question, getting you connected with speeds faster than DSL or satellite, especially in rural areas. SurfNet Communications, the leader in rural broadband internet. Do you think if I said rural to Siri, she can text it out right? Since you always say I say it wrong?
Yeah, try it.
Look out for rural areas. Damn it. R-U-L-E.
It did? Because
No, it's spelled R-U-L-E, not rural.
That's what
Still
you're saying.
spelled.
That's what you're saying. You're saying
So now I know if I could say it right, because Siri will spell it. So look at this is the best way to know if you're pronouncing something right.
rural.
Do it again.
Rural.
Damn it, it spelled it right. Rural.
There you go. You got it that time.
Whatever.